Okay, guys. All right, so what we have here is this practice 2.8, words and graphs. Now, I want you guys to do as much of this on your own before you watch this video. So please don't just rely on copying down this video because you are going to have a quiz that you're going to have to do over this after you're done. So please try this first and then check your answers by watching the video. All right, so if I look at this, and sorry about my voice, guys, I'm losing it a little bit. JV won last night, so that was pretty exciting. I yelled a lot. All right, so this says the object is moving away from position x equals 0 in the positive x direction at a constant speed. All right, so let's talk about that. So think about like if I have a number line, okay, and there's my 0. So that means that my object is moving away from 0. So it's starting here and it's going that direction at a constant speed. Well, to me, what that says is, let's do blue, that I've got a positive velocity and it's going to be constant. So it doesn't really matter where I pick it, but I have to show that I've got a positive velocity. And remember that flat lines show constant speed. It shows the velocity is not changing. Okay, now let's look at this one. The object is standing still at position positive x. So all that means, if we were to look over here at our little number line, that would just mean that I've got something standing still, like somewhere there, right? So on the positive side of the number line. And that's easy. If it's standing still, it has no velocity, and that means that I've got a nice flat line right at 0. That one's kind of a piece of cake. All right, now 1C, the object moves from a position positive x towards x equals 0 at a steady speed for 10 seconds, then stands still for 10 seconds. Let's think about that, okay? So if I've got my number line, all right, and I've got 0, that means that the object is going to start off somewhere over here, and then for 10 seconds it's going to move towards 0, and then it's going to stop and stand still for 10 seconds. So when I draw this on my graph, this part here, that's a negative velocity. So I'm going to need a line down here that's a negative velocity. And basically says the first half is going to be that negative velocity, and the second half is it stands still, right? And what we could even do here, just to make this a little bit more clear, I could label this like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Just so we understand that this part is the first 10, this part is the second 10. Okay, 1D, the object moves in the positive x direction from x equals 0 at a steady speed for 10 seconds, reverses direction, and moves back towards position 0 at the same speed. Okay, so let's think about our number line again. Okay, so if I've got my number line, that means that it's going to start off here at 0. It's going to spend 10 seconds going that way, and then it's going to spend 10 seconds going back that way. So I've got a positive velocity followed by a negative velocity. So here's how that's going to look down here in the graph. I have to have a positive velocity for the first half, which is right there. It's above the line, so it's positive. And in the second half, I'm going to have a negative velocity. Now, I want you to notice something really important here, okay? This says same speed. Well, this line is the same distance above 0 as this line is below 0. So if I was to say that this is something like positive 2, this would be negative 2, which means that they're both a velocity or a speed of 2, just one is a positive speed and one is a negative speed. Now, you don't have to have all that stuff drawn in, but that's just explaining why they have to be the same distance from the line. And just as long as we're talking about that, it is important to note this, okay, that the farther away something is from the line, either above or below, is faster. Okay, so down here, way down low is fast, way up high is fast, near the middle is slow, okay? And we'll talk a lot more about that later. All right, draw velocity versus time graphs for objects whose position versus time graphs are shown on the left. Okay, so we're going to look over here at 2A first. Now, on this, notice that now I've got numbers. Okay, so since I've got numbers, that means I'm going to have to calculate velocities. So to find my velocity, remember that I'm finding my slope, rise over run. So let's zoom in on this just a little bit. Now for this one, I'm going to start at 0. Let's use something cool like pink. Okay, so my rise is here. My run's going to be here. So I've got a rise of 1 and a run of 1. All right, so rise over run is 1 over 1. Oops. So my slope is just 1. What in the world? Get out of here, line. Okay. So now, when I go to look at my graph here, when I graph my velocity, it's a positive 1. So I want to show my line right at the positive 1. All right, ooh, and actually, I'm going to redo that because that shows it stopping after 4 seconds. So I'll show mine stopping after 4 seconds as well. Okay. All right, now I've got 2 different sections, okay? So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to find 2 slopes. All right, so my rise over run here, that's a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So rise over run means that I've got a velocity of 2 for that section. And I'm going to have rise over run. Now my rise is 2 more, so that goes from 2 to 3, which is 1. 3 to 4 is another 1, so total it's 2. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Okay, so rise over run makes 1/2. Okay. Now, when I go to draw this on my other graph, I know that for the first 1 second, I'm going to be going 2. So I draw in the first 1 second is a positive 2. Now the next 4 seconds are going to be at 1/2, or the next 3 seconds, but from 1 up until 4. So I'm going to draw this line here at 1/2. Okay, good. And now finally this one. Now I've got 3 different slopes to find. One of them is really easy though, okay? So this one I've got a rise over run, so that's 2 over 1. 2 over 1 equals 2. This section has no rise, so it would be like 0 over 1, which means 0. And then down here I've got my rise over run. So my rise, this is important, is -4. So I have to go down 4 and then over 1, 2, 3. All right, so my slope here is -4 over 3, which equals -1.3. All right, 4 divided by 3, 1.3, 1 1/3. All right, so let's go over this. What's over here? Okay, so for the first second, I've got a velocity of +2. For the next second, I've got a velocity of 0. And for the final 3 seconds, I've got a velocity of -1.3. So something kind of like that. All right. Hey, go give that quiz a try, and good luck.